Hello everyone, you're welcome to this edition of The Inside. I am Babla Jonathan. Killing and destruction of properties, violence have continued in the crisis-stricken northwest and southwest regions of the country for close to 10 years now. Killings have continued, destruction have been going on in the two predominantly English-speaking regions of the Republic of Cameroon. In one of the latest incidents, women, children, and men were killed by armed civilians in Gedado, in Nous subdivision in the Dongamantu division northwest region of Cameroon. And the incident came on the heels of an operation by elements of the defense and security forces of the Republic of Cameroon that led to the killing of 9 pro-independence fighters around the same area. In the meantime, the rate of gender-based violence against women and girls is on the rise. In the Republic of Cameroon, many more women, an increasing number of women, children, young girls have been subjected to a cruel treatment, often leading to irreversible consequences, notably death. In a context where there is a rising problem of violation of human rights, that has brought many Cameroonians to the point of asking the question as to whether democracy is a reality in Cameroon or a far-fetched concept. And we're analyzing these issues in this edition of The Inside. Meet our guest in some few seconds. And our guest today is FOLIGAR. He's the president of the Cameroon Reformation Party. Mr. President, welcome to the program.
Very much, and you are welcome. Thank you.
Right, you were recently in your village in Jouée, Fungom subdivision in the Metro division in the northwest region of the country. That's an area that is within what is qualified as the hot zones, the difficult areas as far as security is concerned. What did you see? How was your village?
I toured the entire village. I toured part of Room. I toured most of Way and environs. And I watched with my clear eyes what has been going on for so many years, which we're saying that far back 2016. I've seen the devastation. I've seen broken houses. I've seen burnt houses. I've seen challenging behaviors. I've seen difficulties right in the eyes of the indigenous. I've seen challenges. I've seen where the loophole and the weakness of a government, like the one of Cameroon, the weakness of a government that cares nothing about its people, but cares much about what goes to their pockets.
Maybe we should step back a little bit for you to share your experience with us, how you got to Way, because I know that traveling across the crisis-stricken regions now, especially to the hinterlands, to the areas far away from the urban centers, is quite a difficult challenge because of insecurity, but also because of even the road network that is very poor. In some of the areas, you have to pay up to 25,000 francs to get there, especially in areas that are really far away from the urban centers like Bamenda, Buya, and the rest.
Yeah, just to reach Wum is about 20,000. And we're talking about some couple of kilometers, but it's 20,000 francs and in a motorbike. Because Wum is one of the divisions in Cameroon that is almost cutting off from the rest of the country as far as roads are concerned. So there are no roads navigating to Wum, so you have to go through bikes. And the roads are full of lakes of water, potholes, and rocks in the middle of roads, and they are bouncing and knocking off each other, falling over into trenches along the roadside. So we navigated this carefully, and that was so difficult. But because of the love of the country, love of my people, and the interest to bring about a long-lasting solution, I needed to see everything that I speak. I need to see everything right in flagrant.
Were you not afraid to be kidnapped?
I was not afraid because they have tried. When I was going down, it was difficult. You have to pass through forest. We call it the Bafoot forest. You have to go down through the Menchu Falls, and those are difficult crevices for both the military and the fighters. They're hiding in there. But going back to my village, I've told some of them when they came right in front of me, 1 centimeter away from my face, and they looked at me in my eyes and they told me, look, we're going to quench this grass and we're going to put them into white wine. You're going to drink it in front of us. I said, yes, I will do, because I've only come for nothing about yourselves. I've come for you. I've come to see what is happening and that is going wrong. And I will be happy to die in my village.
So how did you navigate through the security challenge to be able to get to work?
The most challenge is we have there is not only from the Amba people. I've discovered that each bike man spends 11,000 francs just to go and 11,000 francs just to come back, which means you're not stopping, you're giving directly to the Cameroon forces 1,000 at any checkpoints, and they got 11 checkpoints there. So you're spending 11,000. So they're making a lot of money. That can, as I see, that is one of the most interest, that they don't want peace to reign in the northwest and southwest.
The Archbishop of Bamenda and President of the National Episcopal Conference of Cameroon, his Grace Andrew Kia, once told me in an interview that security checkpoints, security posts have become collection points.
And I saw it myself. And I tapped the back of my hand and said, can you stop? And they just greet some guys here. And they don't want to come nearer anybody. They're just hiding there. And your role as a bike man is go behind the sand barriers and drop your 1,000 francs CFA and drive off. And that's all it is needed. So when you come in, they're pointing the torch right into the bike man's eye. They don't care whether he leaves or he falls off, because the torch is so strong. It goes right into their eyes and they are forced to clear. And when they clear, they just go and drop and give a certain code. I don't know where the code is coming from. They got codes. Somebody will say is BB220 whatever 334. And then they say, have you written that? Yeah, we've written, we are agree. And that is a very prolific point of corruption, a very prolific point to incriminate people, a very prolific appearance of intimidation, creating fear, and not even wanting to look for a solution. And I am here in this country. They are announcing that we must love this country. But I love this country more than them, because I'm using my meager understanding, my meager salaries to go and reach and see what an average northwesterner and southwesterner of this country that speaks English, how and what they are going through.
You said the pro-independence fighters came to you. What did you tell them? What did they tell you, and what did you tell them?
They came and said, you are hiding. I said, I'm not hiding. Because I had a hat covered right down here, because I was fear of dust as well. And I was also willing to go into everywhere and look. And I was also willing for them to know that I have not come for any bad influence. So I was wearing my hat and a short trouser and a t-shirt. And a young guy came right in front of me, almost about 1 centimeter away from my space, 1 centimeter, and looked me into the eyes and said, you are not hiding. I said, I can't hide, I am not hiding. I've come here because of you people suffering. I've come here to see with my naked eyes. I've come here to see and support you and see what I can contribute to this community, so that you can drop down your fighting and see that we can change this community using our own effort, because the government is not interested to help anyone in as far as this division and as far as these regions of the southwest and northwest and English speaking is concerned.
Okay, the precision is very, very vital, because you said to support them so that the guns can go down, and everything return to normalcy, or develop the community. Because there is another type of support that is being requested
I've come to see that this should end. And I'm happy and speaking that this will end because I am in my village. I'm where I was born. And I'm ready. If you kill me here, I'll be very proud to have come all the way from Yaoundé, went to South Africa and 40-something countries. I've been touring, talking with some high diplomats around the world for your own interest, to see that you drop your arms, you see your positive side of life, you develop yourself, and you cry to people like us so we can support you more. For the government of Cameroon is interested that you fight until you die. For if they wanted to stop this, it could have just been a couple of months. And I've even decided to give a minister or secretary of state for Southern Cameroon crisis to look deeply with lightning speed that this problem should come to an end. Every Cameroonian should feel inclusive. Every Cameroonian should feel loved and cared about. And that there should be no fighting, there shouldn't be no ransom, there shouldn't be no support, and there should not be anybody thinking that talking with people that are fighting, where I think they are ignorant people. I've once told this government that when wise people keep quiet, mad people takes over the street and innocent people die. And I've told you, the government, look into the Southern Cameroon crisis. If you think you are wise and you think you are running this country, look into their problem as quick as possible. Bring them all together, inspire them, give them jobs, give them opportunities, give them chances of life, and tell them good stories and good things that you have to do for the country. And most of these things will just abate within a matter of seconds. But unfortunately,
the problem is self-determination. The problem is independence.
Yeah.
What did you tell them about that?
I have told them that we're working towards a common objective for Cameroon. A common objective means that whatever will favor this country, and I've told some of them, this is the most important country in the world that speaks English and French, the most powerful languages, business language, English, language of science, English, French. Then why will you be fighting each other? It's because the government wants you to fight. This government wants you to fight and kill yourselves. And that's why they line up checkpoints. You don't even have, your mother doesn't have cooking oil. They even come on Maggi, some houses, they brought me some white rice with nothing inside. And that was a restaurant. And then I had to eat, I was enjoying it. But I was so sorry that they had nothing to add on top of it.
How did you feel about the devastation you saw in Way, in Menchum, in Wum, and other parts of the Menchum division?
I saw my father's compound. He was a military officer back in 1945, retired from the Second World War, fought in Burma, fought in Far East Asia, come back to support the Cameroon government, became the best sniper for the Cameroon army far back those years. And then the house was just recklessly burnt down to ashes for nothing. And some people, so many were killed, my brothers were killed, but that's none of the business. The business is that everybody in Cameroon is equal. Everybody should be inclusive. Every family should be thought about and be cared about. Every tribe should be feel included. Every village, every region should be feeling equal, and the national cake should be for everyone.
This situation has brought on those suffering on many in those two regions, and even beyond those two regions, for those who have fled violence to seek refuge in other parts of the country and who are living in precarious conditions today, and the deadly consequences of the ongoing conflicts that has lasted for close to 10 years now are almost unmeasurable. In the last incident in the Gidado, Nous subdivision, in the Tonga Manjuk division, children, women, and men were killed by armed civilians.
This is frustration of the people. Some of the fighting is frustration. Some of the fighting needs their father, the president of the country, to talk to them. Some want to feel him. Some want to know whether he cares about them. But when you continuously bribe your way out in life, continuously bribing your way, just moving from one village to another village, You're spending a hell of money just to bribe your way out. What will you think? Is it not frustration? So these people are so frustrated. They know nobody cares for them.
And
They push them to the right brick wall where they have where they got an elephant in a room, but the door is too small for the elephant to come out. They feel frustrated.
And the question is, should we be here? Why should children, women, and even the men, why should there be all these killings?
I have addressed
What's the essence of all these killings?
I've called on the government to stop these killings. The majority of the killings comes from them. These are people with
the government will tell you that the case we are talking about now in Gidado was orchestrated by armed civilians.
Frustration can orchestrate so many things. These are children who knows nothing but one person who is the leader for about half a century. And the person refuses to talk to them. The person refuses to give them jobs. The person refuses to put them inclusive. The person refuses to address their educational situations. The president refused anything of goodwill to his own people.
You're making reference to the discrimination.
Yes, of course.
Of Cameroonians from
the northwest and the
southwest,
yes,
which is at the root cause.
Yes. He refused to address them. He refused to talk to them. He refused to look into their deepest yearnings in life, the common things, the basic things. He refused to address them. He goes to a demigod. God, a big God or a small one. He's just gone to it. No photographs, nothing. And people are dying. And then police, gendarmes, army, military officers. You don't even know some of them. They're collecting money from innocent people, selling bitter cola, selling reactors, selling basic things just to cope and pay for their school fees. The president refused to talk to them, and they feel so much excluded in the national cake, and they feel that they are restricted because the companies have been closed down. Companies closed down. I've offered my village and said the government refused to connect you and the rest of Cameroon, but I want to take one digger out of my pocket and level down the road leaving Baminda to Room, so that you can just manage to connect with your brothers, because you're fighting for so long and the government has excluded you in everything. But the government has told us, Mr. Lam, you can never make any road of nature. But I'm telling the government that your own children will be split up from the rest of the country because of lack of roads in the rainy season. Where you find a valley as big from here to the 10 kilometers valley of water in a road going to a town where there's a divisional officer. There are lots of important people that work for the government. They can't even move by themselves, but they feel that they will use helicopters to go there. And that's why I've called my people and say, feel free and calm down. Drop your weapons down. Use me as your mouthpiece. Both, all of you from the northwest and the southwest. I'll be doing negotiations between you and the government. I'll be speaking to the Cameroon government with good faith and respect. I'll be asking them pertinent questions to survive you and to benefit from this. Drop your weapons down and let me negotiate your way out, and you get what you can get. Do not fight again.
No, the incident in Gidado came on the heels of a military operation that led to the killing of 9 pro-independence fighters around the same area. And from all indications, from our sources on the ground, the killings in Gidado was a punitive expedition that came as a response to the previous killing of pro-independence fighters by defense and security forces of the Republic. Now, what do you think about this atmosphere that is being created by the continuous use of military force on the ground, provoking such reactions and leading to the death of people who practically participants in the conflict, children, women, other men?
We have looked carefully in what happened in Gidado. I've looked carefully. The military have been trained and they are now addicted to money collection in the northwest and southwest. Just living from Bamenda to Gidado, you will definitely have about 30 to 25 police, military, and gendarme control. They are addicted to collection because they know that those are very vulnerable people who nobody cares about in the whole country. So they are vulnerable, they are open to anything. Nobody cares about them. If you kill somebody from the northwest and southwest, who cares?
Nobody has some.
So that is why I'm saying that the government doesn't care. And the government knows that since the police and the people, they are benefiting, they are even struggling here, that send me to northwest and southwest so I can be a police in the control. They're coming back wealthy. They're coming back with lots of money.
There are 3 soldiers, as we speak now, there are 3 soldiers and a militiaman who are being tried in the Yaoundé military court for their involvement in the Garbo massacre. Their involvement was established by the Yaoundé military court.
When you want
when
you want to try such, you need to call civil society. You need to call somebody who was Amfragan who was there, who knows what happened, who sees the geographic area, who see the controls that are on the way, who saw the provocation, who know what happened. Somebody like us, political figures, need to be part of the judgment. You cannot be the referee and you play the football at the same time. But do you think that the military in Cameroon would judge another military on behalf of somebody from northwest and southwest and give a verdict? It is impossible. This judgment has been going on so many years, 2016 till today. So we're talking about 10 years. But people are suffering. I'm sorry for the women in that area. I'm sorry for the children, their future, and their everything. But also, I want to beg for the Cameroon government that I'm not an agent provocateur. I don't want situations of difficulties and challenges, both within the government and out of the government and the country. We created political parties because we want to speak on where the government makes errors, we speak, and where we make errors, the government speaks, and we bargain and go for elections, and we win or they win us. So nobody is here in Cameroon to create situations of difficulties, but we're begging for them to listen to the cry of the northwest and southwest, to create a department of government transparency. I'm putting myself at the top of it, and I'm capable to go to every office in this country and see how they are properly managed and let this country come back to normalcy. And it should come back with love of the nation, not by enforcement, but by natural way that people love it. Yes, not by military force.
Now, yes. The question is, killing separatist fighters, killing civilians, is it solving any problem?
This is what they want. They say they're killing each other, but some are getting wealthier than some, and some are getting also wealthier than others. But we only call for the government of Cameroon. This started in broad daylight in 2016, and this should stop in broad daylight in 2026 immediately. Lightning speed stop, because it is possible. The benefits that the government gains from this and the elements of the law of force in Cameroon, they are benefiting from it. I am speaking because I have traveled from Yaoundé through the normal buses, not within my car, took a bus from here, went to Bamenda, took a bike from here, went to Room, slept over in a funeral in Room where we were bereaved, left and went to Way village, reached the border of Way and Zua, reached the borders of Way and Isu, reached the borders of Way and Room, and explored the place as a normal civilian who also looks for food in day-to-day life. Just as a normal person, and saw the devastation, and saw the frustration, and saw the challenges, and saw that some people can be so much misfortune in this planet, which is created for equal use for every human being, but unfortunately, the ego and the egocentric nature of others have put the vulnerable ones in difficulties.
Article 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, duly signed and ratified by Cameroon, says that everyone has the right to life, whether separatists, pro-independence fighters, even criminals, whoever has the right to life. And the question is, why killing people? Why killing separatist fighters? Why killing civilians in the name of traitors or black legs in quotes, as they put it? So why the
even myself, I speak here. They want me that they come here. Some of them they come here, and they come in black cars. They come in so many ways. Sometimes I see them, but because I'm so common in life, they don't think that it's me that speaks to you now. They think that I'm some giant wearing some nice suit. But I'm a struggler like any other person. I also sell in Mokolo market like any other person. I feel for Cameroonians, and I do exactly what a day-to-day Cameroonian does in a day to survive. And I also do some. So that's the difference between me and some other politicians. So I am only pardoning the Cameroon government. The solution to the southern Cameroon problem, the Anglophone Cameroon problem, the English-speaking part of Cameroon, the problem is not far-fetched. The solution is in their hands. They should call stakeholders, international community, some other people that are in jail, release some of them, call us to attention, let's sit down, lock up the room, look for a solution with our head of state present, and let people leave. Let our women stop suffering. Let our women stop going through torment. Let them stop giving out their meager earnings just to leave home to where you have to bribe 3 times in a way. Let them stop being intimidated of national identity card when they even struggle to go to the station where the identity cards are issued, where the identity cards, some of them don't have internet to do all these digital things. Cameroon is not only centered within Yaoundé and Douala, it's having about 240 something villages, and about 3/4 of these people are struggling. So I have called the attention of the government of this country to listen and see that both of us politicians should look for a means to end this fighting and create a minister or a secretary of state for Southern Cameroon crisis and give him a time frame, 1 week, 2 weeks, bring about a lasting solution and table in these problems to the government so we can sit down and resolve it once and for all.
Let's go to the instance now. We're looking at what the newspapers reported this week. This is the press review. Daily Voice reports that January 15, 2026 was a date heavy with history and significance. In Cameroon's Supreme Court, the walls bore witness to a courtroom drama steeped in pain, defiance, and a longing for justice. 10 Southern Cameroonian freedom leaders serving life sentences stood before the highest judicial bench, recounting a harrowing tale of abduction, torture, humiliation, and what they described as a gross miscarriage of justice. The Guardian Post reports that the Yaoundé Military Court has found 4 defense and security officers guilty of the February 14, 2020 massacre in Garbu, a neighborhood in the Ntumbo village, Nous subdivision, Tongamatum division of the northwest region of Cameroon. Municipal updates 2025 last quarter. Violence and floods displaced nearly 7,000 people in the far north region of Cameroon. The Sun, ignoring lessons from history, Issa Chiruma's Cameroon National Salvation Front to boycott the 2026 legislative and municipal elections. Another issue of the Guardian Post highlights what it qualifies as the proactive action of the Minister of Territorial Administration at Tanganji Paul, who distributed sanitation equipment to councils in view of giving a new look to the nation's political capital Yaoundé. The Voice, Beer Green Light, massive Francier 1.650 billion borrowing spree to stabilize public treasury. Finance Minister Louis Paul Mutazi has been authorized by the President of the Republic to tap global and local markets to settle debt and finance growth. And that's all we have time for this edition of the program. Welcome back. We're still with our guest. FOLIGAR is the national president of the Cameroon Reformation Party. And Mr. President, recently you issued a New Year statement, New Year speech to Cameroonians. And in that speech, I want to pick out two things. Yeah. The safety of women. You talked about the safety of women because in the same way as people are being killed in northwest and southwest regions within the context of the security problems there, in the other regions, women are also being killed. The number of women and girls being killed is quite disturbing in Cameroon. Gender-based violence against women and girls is on the rise in the country. And even when we go back to the conflict areas, see that many of those who suffer deadly consequences, who suffer other consequences of the conflict are mostly women and children. In the situation, in the incident that happened in Gidado, there were women who were killed, there were children who were killed. Now, you're talking about the safety of women. And another aspect in your speech is where you're calling on Cameroonians not to accept, to be made to think or to believe that democracy is a Western concept. Is a Western concept. It's not a reality in their own country. It should not be the reality in their own country. But first of all, let's talk about women.
Yes, during the presidential elections, we had an alliance to see that we can change this country to better. But we are going to have the best alliance in this political organization with women. They are intimidated and molested by their own husbands, their partners, their neighbors, and the rest. Women are going through challenges. Domestic violence will be met with the full force of the law when the Cameroon Reformation Party takes power in this country. The government of Paul Biya is so relaxed when it comes to domestic violence. They're so relaxed, they're comfortable with it. But things are not going. Women are the powerhouse of the economy. They're bringing forth new children that will be in the police, they will be in the gendarme, they will be lawyers, they will be customs, they will be everything in the country. Why can we not respect them? So within our law and within our policies and within our manifesto, the woman in this country will have so much power and so much respect and so much dignity for just being a woman, because they are very vital for our society. And anybody who causes domestic violence, torturing, molestation of a woman in this country will meet the full force of law within my government. And that is the partnership I have promised to build with them. And in top positions where decision is being made, we will train them, encourage them, include them to be part of decision making right at the top in this country.
While waiting for your government, how do you think the gender-based violence curve can be brought down?
It can be brought down. We need to create bureaus We know we've got women's and social affairs. It's just a window dressing. We're going to be actually looking into an ombudsman who manages the affairs of a woman when you have any crisis caused by a man who is married to you, caused by a man that is your boyfriend, neighbor, or whatever. You've got a hotline just to call and report. And the full flesh of the law and investigation will boil into, and the truth will come out. So we will not want to do window dressing of the head of state, Paul Biya. We will want to do things realistically. So they will have a gender equality or domestic violence hotline. Domestic violence hotline. Once you are tormented by your husband, once you are abused and intimidated, when you feel insecure in a relationship or in marriage, you have a telephone number that will give you the full support and investigation you want. It's becoming so much in Cameroon where women feel so much intimidated, tortured, and violently molested by their husbands, wives, parents, and the rest.
Right. You are telling Cameroonians that they should not believe that change is impossible. That still democratic change is impossible. You are telling them that they should not allow themselves to be brought to that point of believing that democracy is a foreign concept. But that's what it seems to look like when we see the situation of the country and all the ills in the country.
They created their party far back in 1982 or 1985. They created a party called Cameroon People's Democratic Movement. But they indoctrinate Cameroonians that democracy is a Western concept, that it is far-fetched when you cannot speak. They created a one-party policy system in this country. Other political parties are allowed to register, but they are not allowed to function. Some of us are just managing.
The multi-party system
is by just verbal concepts. Can they allow us to say anything without them being intimidated? Can they allow us to do democratic things and to oppose their wrongs publicly without feeling being intimidated and bullied, without feeling being killed? Look at Anisette Kani. He just left the planet. Was that democracy? I'm not saying that somebody killed him, but through the undemocratic procedures, he lost his life. So, Cameroonians, as I called, have told you, democracy is not a Western concept. It is a concept that means that government of the people, not people of the government. In the bias policy of democracy, the people of the government has power over government of the people. This government enjoys people of the government, not government of the people. When you don't work with the government in this country, you are shit. You are nothing. When people who use business cards and say my brother is minister, and you feel intimidated, you get police controls, they ask you an identity card you don't have. They don't even have the chance to ask you why do you not have an identity card. Do you face any challenge? Are you having any difficulties just making one? Where is it? How can we help you to have one? Must you just be jailed, be collected and dropped down off a car by a police officer who is a Cameroonian and shows his ID card to nobody and just feel that as far as I'm a police officer, I'm a Cameroonian, you wouldn't have an identity card. At that time, you are not a Cameroonian. Who told them that? Why can't they say, young man, why somebody of your age don't have an ID card? How do you operate your things? How do you deal with the banks and the rest? Do you have any challenge making an identity card? Look at this telephone number. If you find difficulties to make an identity card, go and call this number and somebody will support you. We're giving you last warning that we're giving you 1 month to try and create one for yourself. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. That's democracy. That's democracy. In Cameroon, you drop down, you give 2,000. Those are collection points, collecting money everywhere and bringing in violence and intimidation, enforcing love. Democracy has nowhere to define that the love of a nation is democracy. Pyrekel also created democracy and even put his own colleagues, Democritus, as democracy, and it became worldwide norm because the definition is so common and easy. Government of the people, for the people, and for the people. When we come to Cameroon, it's people of the government, not of the people, and of the government.
In the place of interviews of the week, we bring into you the perspective of the issues concerning the violence, the killings, the destruction in the northwest and southwest regions of the country of a member of Cameroon's House of Parliament, Senator Regional, interviewed by a northwest correspondent, Nous.
Actually, when I got that news on social media, I was frozen. Horror. Horrible. Horrible is not even the word to use. Chills ran through my body. How could children, innocent children, be victims to this, to what is going on? Women, innocent people. It's horrifying. And I feel so bad. Mothers have cried. And the crying seems not to have an end. What do children have to do with all this? Babies, the ones who have not been going to school, have they not suffered enough? Do we need to add the blood of innocent children on our soil before we can have peace? It is the most horrifying, horrible situation that has happened in this country. Two wrongs can never make a right. The government, okay, if the government has failed to resolve the situation, who really is the primary object suffering? And when we talk about government, whom really are we talking about? All of us make up government. And our communities, our households willing to bring this issue to an end. Those terrorists are not hanging in the bushes, as people keep saying, boys in the bushes. They are living with people. People know them, and what have they done? Parents, they are parents. These are children who belong to homes, to families. What are these families doing? So when we talk about government solving this situation, government has been doing a lot. Government says, put down your arms, come to the DDR, be reorientated, and then we look for other solutions. Certainly, there cannot be only one answer to a situation, and it would appear now that the terrorists think that they are the only ones who have the right answer to the Anglophone problem. But this is not true. There are other options. And other people who have not taken up arms certainly also have opinions, and they have answers, they have suggestions of what could be done to resolve this problem. So we need collaboration. Everybody has to come on board to resolve this problem. We cannot continue like this. We cannot continue killing ourselves. Okay, all those children who were killed, and the women and so on, how far have we moved towards going to Boya? Has it taken us any one step ahead? It has instead dirtied our region to look as a region that has no value for human life. We just look at like barbarians in this region. That is not selling our image anywhere positively. I plead and I pray that the Mbororos should not retaliate. Two wrongs would never make a right. And when the borrowers, if they choose to retaliate, who is going to again to be killed? Innocent people will lose their lives. They might not lay hands on those people who actually cause this horrific situation. But you see, we cannot continue like this. Even when we say government should intervene, if government comes in and intervenes with arms, innocent people too will lose their life. This is one area where the government has been somewhat very reserved in using arms to resolve this conflict. So I pray that the Muslims will be patient. The whole nation is crying for them. This whole region, we are weeping with them. And let them take time for the perpetrators of this crime to be sorted out by the forces of law and order. And I'm very sure that they will get those people, because you can't just do a thing like that and go free. Human blood cannot be spilled like that. So I pray that the borrowers who have been peaceful cattle rearers in people of this region, they are indigenous people. All of us have moved from somewhere, so nobody should claim ownership of land here. We've all moved. If you know the history of migration, people have moved from somewhere and have settled somewhere. So the Fulanis have settled here, wherever they came from, just as much as we too. We don't the chambers and so on. We don't know where we came from, and we have all settled here. So let them be patient. But patience, when you are hurting deeply, is a very hard thing to do. But we pray that God will touch their hearts to be patient and let the forces of law and order do their part in seeking out these perpetrators. Retaliation now will not help us. It will not take us anywhere. It will only cause more havoc, and a full-blown conflict can erupt, which is only going to lead to destroying us further and not building. And at this point in time, let us try to see how we can build and not destroy.
Now, Mr. President, in your New Year address to Cameroonians, another issue you're highlighting is about the foundations of the Republic. You're saying that we have to go back to the foundations of the Republic and correct the wrongs from there. Tell us more.
This country is not well founded on democratic terms, and when democracy fails, innovation fails. When democracy fails, progress fails. When democracy fails, nothing moves. And when democracy is not in action, wrong things skyrocket. And this is Cameroon. You can see how poorly managed, how poorly constructed, how poorly people can see even their own houses. They're collecting money from the national basket, taking money. You can never have the heart, whether the president to dip your hands into the national basket where everything is found for the nation. You dip your hands and take out. That is not allowed. And even though they're abusing the system, they're building horrible things. And by the way, let me cut it short. This country goes back. We're creating another 11th region. Number 11, we call it the capital region. We're getting across 5 different regions: Northwest, Southwest, West Province, Littoral, and Center. We're figuring out a piece of land that suits the capital region of Cameroon. No tribe will have an upper hand to say the capital is in their village. Get me right. No tribe will have the heart to say that it is their language that monopolizes the capital city. The vision needs to be very clear in diamond clarity, because I see for the benefit of those that cannot see.
Is that vision 2032?
Whenever I take over, it can be tomorrow, because we
presidential election.
Yeah, it can be tomorrow, because we know that being at 95, 94, and having so many times that they're saying that the head of state has passed away, it has just become norm. Whether he is there or he is not there, nobody will ever know.
I mean, you're saying that he's there, but he's not there.
Who knows? But on the eye can know, but I cannot tell anyone yet what I see. I'm seeing terrible things in the country. Terrible things. I'm seeing the country running down the drain, but I'm fighting all my best to stop the drain from flowing, so that my people should feel inclusive in a God-given country. And so I'm only going to dig the foundation of the country and build it so solid. And I am going to be one of the founding fathers of this new Cameroon. I'm going to be one of the Cameroonians that they say our ancestors did this, they said this. Because I'm only saying strange things that will take my life away. But unfortunately, let them do what they want to do. We're going to find a new Cameroon, a new capital region, a new capital city that reflects a multinational, a multicultural, a multilingual country, and a bilingual country. A country that is solid like a rock. A country that reflects the true nature that God created it to speak English and French. A country that God created it to reflect that we're speaking multi-languages. A country that will be very inclusive, and a country that understands that every tribe in this country got a blame. Baboon, people, Bakweri, lazy people, Barangi, prostitute, this one did this one did that. I'm going to stop all that rubbish. Everybody will be more inclusive. Those tribal lines will be well defined.
Should be tribal
stigmatization. Tribal stigmatization. I'm stopping all that. A Cameroonian will be a Cameroonian. I'm feeling proud. We will conquer some nations, and our bike riders will be able to go to the moon on my behalf and on behalf of this country. And we will stop from struggling. It's very easy. These ports in this country, just the ports, we expect at least 3.5 million containers to land in these ports a year. And if you multiply 3.5 million to basic custom duties without no corruption, the budget of Cameroon will be dwarfed. The budget will just be dwarfed. It will show that we got more than we know. And we will use it more transparently. We will give the account. We don't have a stock exchange in this country. Why will we grow crops, cocoa, and the rest? We need to decide the prices. The average farmer will see how much he suffers to harvest cocoa with the season and decide how much he wants to sell his cocoa depending on the stock.
All right. Before we wrap up this program, I want us to address the problem that seems to be looming after the incident in Gita.
Yeah.
Because the attack took place in a Muslim community. Yeah. And on grounds that information went from that community.
In ideas. So it is not your fault. Let nobody deceive you to fight among each.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today's edition.